Miami card is stacking up to be badass. Michael Venom Page versus Kevin Holland.
Okay, I want to address what I said about the UFC fights and stuff. Like, you know, yes, there was some exciting knockouts on the card, and I didn't get there for those. I wasn't there for those. The fights I saw was just rolling on the ground. And Royval and Pantoja, they had a scrap. The smaller guys, they wrestle faster. I don't know. But, you know, even still, I'm not hating on the skill. There's skill in it, I know. But it's the sport. It's like a fight, bro. It's better. That's my facts. Like, I have facts for you. It's more entertaining. My fights are better. Period.
There is a line, and it takes a lot for me to call somebody out on this stuff. But when Colby went after Leon's dad, I was like, I don't like that. But this is my theory with that. Colby did that because his team knew Colby was not the same version that he was 2 years ago. And they got to do something to get in Leon Edwards' head because he's too good. He's going to beat Colby everywhere. And if Leon comes correct, he's going to beat the shit out of Colby. So we got to get him out of that mindset. We got to get him to fight emotional. We got to get him come forward by any means necessary. As far as title shots, it's over. The new wave's coming in so damn hot, and there's so much talent. Is Colby going to take a fight with Schaub? Does he want to go down that road? You know, is that the plan? I don't know.
Congrats to the champions who retained their belts. And Leon Edwards, you know, I always thought he's a solid guy, a good guy, nice guy.
Yep.
You know, I really felt for him, Jimmy, and I was at your house, and I'm glad I didn't get emotional. But when after he just retained his title, and he did it in you know, listen, he did it phenomenally. He just outclassed Colby all around.
Yeah, he was beaten.
He could out wrestle him, and he was still deeply disturbed. This is why I don't like people who are like, oh, it's just selling a fight. Colby said something about his deceased father who was murdered when he was 13 years old. Colby doesn't have children. I have children around that age. So if you think how devastating it must have been for him as a 13-year-old child, for his father not only to die, but to get murdered. And for somebody to use, as he said, for entertainment, he almost couldn't get it out of his mouth. He was starting to get upset.
Yeah.
Dude, Jimmy, that is something. That's where when people say that that Colby is a piece of shit.
Yeah,
it's literal. Like, in other words, you can't just say that's a pro wrestling thing and
no.
because you know what, man? That's going to follow him around for the rest of his life. He's going to be known as just a dirtbag. And his best years look like they're behind him. He is 35 years old. And I know you're going to point out what you always point out.
Sure, what you did when you were 35.
I know. I don't want to talk about it.
Sure.
Putting Frank Trigg unconscious.
Easily.
But, yeah, easily. And I knew I looked pretty much like a spring chicken. The point is,
did.
a year later, I retired. How about that?
Sure.
After my title fight. When it's time, it's time. Colby looked awful.
He looked terrible.
Looked slow. The only time he had any bit of success is when Leon actually gave it to him on a platter by trying to match him in the wrestling, and then he could lose a scramble.
Which was, I thought, a mistake by Leon. I thought that was where he allowed emotion to interfere with what he was doing.
Or just a technical mistake, because he looked sound. He didn't look emotionally. He's such a professional that he didn't let that creep back in until it was over. Leon just looked great. He walked out of there, looks like without a scratch. Colby's legs were messed up. He got just outclassed. You know what's really great? I was just telling Jimmy. Now, the fact that he's 35 and he had this performance, even Dana saying he looked old, he looked slow. I'm going, listen, he'll never be a UFC champion. He will never be a UFC champion. If this is all an act, he sold his soul for what? For what? Unless he's just genuinely a piece of shit.
I mean, I think he genuinely is, right? When you talk about a guy's father and, something like that, like, that's not an act. That's something inside of you that's just pathetic. And people could say, oh, when you meet him in person, he's nice. I'm like, bro, no. To go that low, you're just a dirty person. I'm so happy that you're 0-3 in title fights. Like, you'll never be on that throne. You could say, oh, I was the bad guy, heel, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, you're never going to have that C next to your name.
Yeah, well, Chael, he did it with some class. You know, he's funny. He's funny. He's funny, cat, Chael. He does some funny stuff. But, and again, the other guy's not witty at all. He has these lines made up, and he just tries to be offensive.
And I'd like to tell him, like, you could tell Trump was even uncomfortable with his speech at the end. Like, Trump was smiling, but it's like, I hate to tell Colby, but Trump likes guys who win.
It's
like,
true.
Trump doesn't like someone who loses 3 shots in a row. I'm sure Trump likes him, but it's funny. I could see on Trump's face that he was smiling politely, but he looked a little uncomfortable because there was no grace in it. There was no grace in it whatsoever.
You know what's great about this? And, I like success for everybody, except for this guy, because he's third. So it's really great knowing that he will never be a champion in the UFC.
No, he won't be. You're right.
He will never be a champion. I always said the guy was a dick, but he was a good fighter. Now he's just a dick. Now his fighting skills are starting to diminish.
And I know you don't like Conor either. And Conor has said some things that I know a lot of people didn't like. But one thing you have to give to him is when he loses a fight, he says, he was the better man tonight. He got me. Good fight. He got me. Like, Conor doesn't fucking snivel and blame judges, or he kind of just owns that he lost. I mean, he
not
said
the last
things
fight, not the last fight, but yeah.
What that was a broken leg though. I mean, like when a guy gets him, he says he'd missed the guy got him, and I've always liked Conor when he lost. Like, I've always liked the way he handled his losses, because at least he's handling it like a guy I respect when they lose.
How did Colby handle it?
I mean, it was really embarrassing. Like, it wasn't even angering. It's embarrassing. Like, he's doing the thing on his waist, and it's almost like, Colby, you don't believe this. Yeah. Like, it seems fake. It's fake.
He ruined his life. His life is what is he gonna do after this? What? That guy's opening a school? What is that guy doing? Did he make enough money just to go off to the sunset? I don't know. Maybe not. But he is just known, and it's so universal. It's so universal. That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
You got Patty Pimflet, you got all these other gentlemen from all over the different parts of the world agreeing that he's a piece of shit for what he said about Leon's dad.
You know what? I'm about to say it. Say it.
1 foot was a balloon. Foot was a balloon. You want to see it? Do you know what I mean? Toes came out of the socket.